the industry I was in got disrupted. I lost everything. I had to start over, and this is that story. I'm Joe Oz from the Joe Oz Real Estate Group here at eXp Realty. So, so my past life, I worked in music, right? I'm 42 years old. My early 20s, like in college, geez Louise, I just started a record label, right? I started a record label. Like we had CDs and records. And I remember I put out my first record, I applied for a credit card, right? Like I remember I wanted to put out a record by a band, like a local band. It means I had to put them in a studio. I had to pay for like compact discs and records to be pressed and made physically. And it was gonna be about $4,000 to $5,000 to do all these things, right? And I didn't have any money. And I remember I like applied for a credit card. I was like 18 or 19 or something. And I like told the credit card company, I was like, or the local bank, they asked for income. I was like $100,000. Anyway, I got the credit card. And what happened was I got the credit card, and then I went and I did it. I started a record label. I put the band in the studio, got the record mastered. I got the records pressed, did all these things. And, from there on, in my past life, I would tour with bands. I had a record label. When I was in college, I interned at a record label, a distribution company, and then all these things. And my dream was I just wanted to work in music, and it seemed fun, and I was passionate about it. And, I think when the music's on, nothing else matters, and when the music hits, you feel no pain, right? And so that's the way that I felt, and I loved it. I just wanted to be around it. It's where I felt really, really comfortable, and it was fun, and it was cool, and all those things. I didn't think there was gonna be a lot of money in it, but like whatever. And so I went on, and as you know, that industry was disrupted, right? And I was telling a story recently. It's worth telling again. Is I remember my business, we ran it out of my house in Ocean Grove, New Jersey, and the first year we did it, I think we grossed like $40,000, like me and my partner. The next year we grossed $1 million. We opened up an office outside of Philadelphia, and we started distributing. We had our own record labels. We started distributing other record labels, and really kind of obscure stuff. If we liked a band, we would buy your records and we would distribute it. We would just say, hey, we really like you. Give us 30 copies of your compact disc, and we're gonna send it to all these accounts that we had opened all over the country. And we would. And then when the accounts would sell them, they'd pay us, and then we'd pay the bands and all these things. And it was really, really great. But what finally happened was, obviously there's no more record stores, there's no more CDs, there's no more vinyl's making a comeback, but I missed that a lot. I missed Tuesdays was like a ritual. Tuesdays when records came out, right? It's funny, now our real estate team, we list houses on Tuesdays. That's why, by the way, initially. It turns out Tuesday and Wednesday are the best days to list houses, strategically and statistically, but whatever, that is what it is. But I just remember I was doing very well with music and music distribution and selling records, and we had an office. And I remember I met, and then this thing came along called Napster. And I remember the moment I saw it, man. I remember people were burning CDs at this point, and whatever, that was cool. I figured people had to buy one CD to burn one, or I knew that was kind of a disruption. But when Napster came, everything was free. Everyone could download records from LimeWire, Napster. And I remember being at a party and seeing someone playing music, and he asked me what I wanted to hear, and I told him. I gave him this really obscure song that I didn't think he'd be able to find, and he found it in like 2 seconds. And then I'm like, where did that, it was all on his laptop, and I'm like, or his desktop. I'm like, where's this coming from? And he's like, dude, Napster, it's free. Music's free now, bro. He's like, you don't pay $20 for a CD anymore. And I just remember thinking oh my God, it's over for me. I just remember feeling oh my God, that's crazy. And that was the beginning, right? And then so from there, things just then there was obviously now we do Spotify and iTunes and all those things, and people got then iPods came out. Oh my God, you remember those? So, that's the time when I was disrupted, and everything just really our business was doing great. And so we're moving into, it's funny, we aligned with Amazon. This is 20 years ago or something. We aligned with Amazon, and we were a record store on Amazon, and we were opened up. We had to fly to France, Germany, London. We had to fly to all these countries to open up bank accounts so we could sell abroad all the record labels that we sold. And, it was completely disrupted, And what I learned from all that is, there's a cool book called Disrupt Yourself that I've read. And what I learned, by the way, I've got my 4-month-old right here, by the way, with me. He knows. But yeah, man, what I learned from that was you can be disrupted at any time. That's why I'm very passionate about aligning myself with the people, industry leaders, and just keeping my head on a swivel, right? Like keep being very aware of what's happening and being willing to like pivot, being willing to try something and fail, right? And so I failed big time at that. That did not work out, right? Like it did not work. And it was horrible at the time. It was so bad. Like I went into debt, all this stuff. And I'm so thankful for failing and doing all those things wrong because I had done all that. I'd learned so many lessons to get me to where I am today. And that's why I'm so passionate about disruption. I'm passionate about staying ahead of the trends. And that's it. What I found is if you run with the right pack, you really can't be disrupted. So that's how I got disrupted and lost it all.